One of our Wyopreps football playoff games of the week takes us to Class 3A with the Jackson Broncs going on the road to take on the Buffalo Bison, visiting with Jackson head coach David White. And Coach, first of all, thanks for taking a few minutes of your time to visit with me. But I guess tell me how you feel about your team as you get ready for the football playoffs this weekend.
I feel pretty good. I think just, being a first-year guy, new program, and really replacing a lot of players and really good players. And obviously they had a heck of a run here the last 2 years. So I think getting through that anxiety, the learning curve, everything's kind of quiet during the summer for the most part. And then we got like 8 days, we got to play our first game. So it's kind of different for me. But at the same time, we played a lot of catch up. But, 4-5, and we won a couple big games and probably lost some games we shouldn't have. But like high school football, it's got some ebbs and flows and ups and downs. And so, we're at right now, and we had to rally through some injuries, which is another factor. But for the most part, I'm proud of what our guys have done. Obviously, I think we underachieved in some areas, but if you ask them kids who are very, insecure about being first-year players, I think they did a heck of a job. So, we're in a position, we made it to the playoffs, and we got to make the most of it and swing for the fences.
How do you handle a long road trip going all the way across the state from Jackson to Buffalo?
You know what? When I was taking the job, there's 2 boxes I checked. One, the travel on the con side, and then the other part was just, Wyoming football and doing that and doing Wyoming football and my competitive spirit to 3A football and the Jackson Hole community, because there's a bunch of great people, a bunch of great kids, but it's still relevant, it's still football. And so, and as I got going, I'm like, you know what? It's been a unique experience, and obviously excited about these opportunities here.
What do you look at when you see the Bison and Coach Hammond's squad?
They're a good football team. Again, they're close. They lost by a touchdown to Douglas. They hung with Cody, even though it was early in the year, middle of the year. But again, they're the 2 seed for a reason. They got some big guys up front on offensive line, and that's where we got to really stand up and do some good things. We just got to throw the ball a little bit better. We actually got to run and throw the ball better offensively. But I think they give us some things that we can do well out. But it's still Friday night, man. We got a Friday at 3. We still got to play tough. But no, they do a good job. Their quarterback's a heck of an athlete. They run and throw, so we got to watch him. And from the history from the coaches here, the quarterbacks has some heritage, some family members back in the day. He's a part of a lineage of a lot of athletes. So, they're going to come out and give us everything they got.
Are there, and I'm not trying to put any undue pressure on your guys, but are there certain kids that you look at and say, I got to see you play well on Friday to give you a chance to win a road playoff game?
Yeah, I think a quarterback. I mean, Owen, again, first-year starter, but he's got a lot of tools, and he got frustrated last couple of games, even the other night. I mean, Star Valley is a good football team, and we put ourselves in position a few times to put a few more points on the board and at least hang with him, and we did it. And he went from, emotional pressure to really just kind of imploding a little bit. So for him to be the leader, and anybody knows, high school football, you got a dude behind the center that your team plays a lot better. And so, and I told him, you sign up to play quarterback. I signed up to be head coach. It's part of the deal. We got to accept the challenges and do that. So for us, I think for him, he has to really be the key part of it. Plus he does QB run game for us too. He's a leading rusher. So he has to step up. And then probably 1A or 1B would be Seb Bruner, our number 1, because he's so key on defense and the skill position, receiver. I mean, DB and kind of outside backer, we're putting him out a little bit this week, and then receiver. So possibly running back, who knows?
Yeah, I got you. Well, you gotta leave it all on the table. I'm not looking for your game plan, but what are some of the big keys for you Friday, you think, against Buffalo?
We just got to establish a run game. I think we got to be better up front. Our line, again, we were kind of depleted the last couple of weeks. We had 2 linemen out. We lost one earlier a couple weeks ago, and then we got our center last week. Our starting center hurt his knee during practice, so he didn't even play in the game. So the game prior and the last game played like a few quarters. So just getting those guys back will help out. But we're still just okay up front. We're just not that team. And so it's just trying to play with confidence. So getting our run game going, I think that's like a lot of coaches will say, you got to get your run game if you want to do anything. So it's so true with us. That's what we have to do.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. Wish you best of luck at Buffalo Friday.
No, appreciate having me, man. Thanks.
We continue the conversation with one of our Wyopreps playoff football games of the week. It takes us to Class 3A. The Jackson Bronx visiting the Buffalo Bison on Friday afternoon, visiting with Buffalo head coach Rob Hammond. And Rob, it's been a while since I talked to you, and you guys look like you had a pretty good regular season after a little bit of a slow start. I guess, how do you feel about your team coming into the postseason here?
I feel like we're playing well right now. And I also feel like we've gotten better week to week, which was the goal. We came out and we played a really tough non-conference schedule. And I think that set our kids up really well. We saw what good football looks like. And we've been building week to week. The run game's going, the passing game's coming along. Our defense has gotten better. So, I hope we're peaking at the right time. So, but it feels good to come in on a win streak.
At least you don't have to travel this week, because that's a heck of a daunting task to go all the way to Jackson. You saw what they did to Douglas earlier. You've played Douglas. What do you kind of look at when you see Coach White's bunch?
I think just from watching on film, I think Coach White's a good coach. He's doing a great job with the talent that he has. I think he's got the right guys in the right spots. I think he calls a good game. I think their quarterback's dangerous, and he seems to make good decisions with the ball. When his number's called, he runs the ball well too. And then defensively, they're sound. When you watch them on film, they're not that flashy. They're not that you're just not that flashy, which is a scary team to play. I think any team that can come out and just run their base things well, it usually means they're sound. It usually means there's not some glaring weaknesses. So I think he's doing a heck of a job. I think his kids have bought into a new system, and it shows. They've had a good year.
How do you go about, and I'm not asking for your game plan, but how do you go about trying to slow down a dynamic athlete at quarterback like the Jansen kid for Jackson? Just in your past experience and maybe you guys you've played this year, how do you go about trying to slow a kid down like that?
There's a lot of good quarterbacks in 3A this year. Every week it seems like we've had a different challenge. And so, we're not going to try to do too much. The way we line up, we usually feel like most of our gaps are secured. We just hope that our defensive line does their job. We hope our linebackers make their correct reads so they can see if it's a run or a pass. And then you just hope athletes can make plays. So, we've got some good athletes back there, and hopefully by now you should be able to make your reads. We can see if he's going to pass or run. And then, when playoffs come, sometimes it's just a matter of putting guys out in space and hoping they make a tackle. So but you're right. We're worried about him. He's a heck of a football player.
You guys were on the other end. As I mentioned, you don't have to travel this year. You went to Jackson last year, and that was, let's just say, an interesting and entertaining game, as high scoring as it was, particularly in the first half, and then they just kept going.
Right.
How do you go about trying to slow down a team that can be that explosive, this time around? Without divulging the game plan, what are some of your big keys Friday?
Well, number one, I just think that we need to be patient on defense. It's funny to compare it to a double wing team, but I think our kids just need to just understand that they're going to get yards. But as long as we limit the big play and as long as we make tackles, it's very hard for any high school football team to put long drives together. So we need to stop the explosive play. We need to keep everything in front of us and then, make a tackle. And if they have a big gain, they're going to. We know that. And then we just have a next play mentality and we rally in the huddle and play for the guy next to us the next play. But it's just all about keeping your composure, I think, and playing sound football.
Guys excited, ready to go for the playoffs, you think? Are they getting antsy this week?
The guys are excited, absolutely. It feels like football weather. It's been cold up here, and it's been nice. It's just been so hot all year long, and the guys are excited to play at home. Last year we had to make that long trip, and we get to play the same team. I know it's a new coach and new players, but we get to play those guys again. So yeah, they're very excited. We'd play right now if we could, but I guess we're gonna have to wait till Friday at 3.
All right. Well, Rob, that's all I needed from you. I appreciate your brief time and best of luck Friday afternoon.
You bet. Thanks, man. Talk to you later.